and welcome to the Where People Meet podcast, the event technology podcast for the worldwide meetings and events industry. I'm your host, Mitch Malinsky, head of sales here at Feedboop, and today I'm joined by Matthijs Otto, founder and CEO of NetworkTables, a web-based software solution that helps event organizers maximize networking opportunities at their in-person, hybrid, and virtual events. Matthijs, thanks for joining us today. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from Amsterdam. That's where we're based.
Fantastic. Well, I've been really excited for this conversation. I've done a lot of research on your company. I know we actually have a few of our clients who are interested in integrating your tool within our platform. So really excited for the conversation today. Again, thank you for taking the time to join us. But to start, Matthijs, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your background in the events industry?
Yeah, myself and the event industry started in 2015, I think. I was not knowing anything about the industry. I was not knowing anybody in the industry. I just went in total blank page, and I really saw that there was an issue of the way people are networking. So it's not really made easy for people at all, especially not for exhibitors. I was exhibiting at events myself with the company that I had before, and I thought, wow, this is so much effort to actually, get a couple meetings scheduled. You have to email people, you have to call people saying, hey, are you coming to this event? Shall we meet? It's very difficult for people to meet new people at events. And the apps that we used, barely people were downloading that or were in there. So it didn't really help me. So I basically came in to fix that because I saw a lot of assumptions, like why don't we just make it all a one-click process, and why don't we just launch a tool? And we started with basically fixing networking at dinners and round tables by giving people the ability to choose themselves with whom they will be on a table by picking their seat as like in an airplane, and make that as easy as possible. So no app, no registration. We just had an import we got from event organizers, and they got to send their attendees an email. They click on a link and they could check into their table like in an airplane. That's how we started the company.
Yep. And it seems that how you got the idea for this was from an outsider's perspective. As you mentioned, you were fairly new to the events industry. You haven't been an event planner before, but you were actually traveling to trade shows. You were exhibiting on site, and you got this idea for NetworkTables out of a pain point that you experienced when you were exhibiting at these events. That's correct?
It was the combination. So I was frustrated with the amount of work I needed to do to schedule one-on-ones.
Yep.
An event organizer came to me, and she was frustrated making seating arrangements. So she was our first customer. She paid us. I was like, okay, for this amount, I do it. And we traveled back to Rome, to Italy, to actually be in person at that event. And we sent everybody. There were people that were aged 60 plus, so let's say senior. So for me, it was like, I don't believe in what you decided our tool should do, but let's try it. For that money, I do it. And then I decided, okay, no passwords, because these people are not going to remind their passwords. No apps, no nothing, like just one email, one click, and then immediately they should see an overview of tables, see who's on the table, and join a table. That was the first event. That went so well, the uptake, the engagement, but I didn't realize because I was not in the event business. So for half a year, I didn't do anything on the product. It was just an MVP. It worked. She said, there's more demand for it. I was like, I don't believe in that. And then I left it. So I never believed in my own company. But that changed when I actually started to find if there was more demand. I found out within 2 weeks there were 80 companies signing up for that service, and I started calling them. Wow. And now 8 years later, we're still doing the same, but we've expanded in time with features like one-on-one meetings, session booking, virtual events for communities, in 2017. We made our tool available virtually because a community came to us that run a series of roundtables. So we've adopted over the years, but we always said, when someone said, hey, can you also do one-on-one meetings, for example, when we didn't have it at that time? I said, no. Why should we? There's 1,000 other tools that do that. And always people came with new issues that weren't solved. For example, they said, yeah, but we want people to be available for 1 hour, have 4 meetings, but not set the time. So why do you want that? So, yeah, because then they can just book 4 meetings and then we later on allocate the times. I said, okay, I can understand it saves them hassle from setting the times. So that's why, for example, we developed a one-on-one meeting concept where you can do such thing, where our system sets times automatically, and that attendees just have to book in 4 meeting slots. That's it. So all the time during a whole period during a whole adventure of NetworkTables, actually, we've been trying to do things that were not done or do it in a total different way. So what we now do, and we still do that super different than others, we do topic-based matchmaking. So we don't do AI or manual matchmaking or a simple calendar booking system. No, what we do is we bring people together around topics, whether that's for a one-on-one. So exhibitors, for example, they have expertise about a certain topic, but the attendee doesn't know that. The attendee only sees a logo. We try to force people to meet around topics, whether that's in a group meeting, a one-on-one meeting, or whether that's in a workshop, everything around topics, because that connects people.
Yeah. We've got a similar matchmaking system in our platform. It's not necessarily topics-based, but it's more based on a survey. So the event organizer will create a survey, and then that will go out to the event participants. You will enter your responses, and then based on your responses, an algorithm runs, and it'll connect you and put you into rooms with people who have similar interests. So seems somewhat similar to yours. I think yours is on another level than ours. Ours is a fairly basic matchmaking tool, but that is also where these integrations come into play, because your tool can be integrated on top of existing technology stacks. Is that correct?
Yeah, true. What we see nowadays is that, because it's also really a concept that becomes more and more popular now, the whole topic-based matchmaking concept, because we want to try new things. And we see, especially at trade shows, it works. But as I understand, you are more focused on virtual. So let's talk virtual. Let's not talk too much about in person, because maybe that's not interesting, but that's what we mainly do, in-person events, making sure the right people meet each other at those events. But at virtual events, we do the same. Just the location changes from a table number or exhibition stand number into a video calling room on the platform. So what we see is that we call it embedded topic-based matchmaking or integrated event matchmaking, where people embed our solution because they really like that concept of bringing people together around topics. And then they also like the visualization. You really see with whom you'll be in a table in advance. It's very easy to use. So besides your matchmaking, where you just try to connect attendees based on profiling, so this is the best match for you, just meet them. NetworkTables is a more natural way. So without filling anything, just by engaging a group of people to submit a topic and the others joining that topic, you already have a match. So you have to fill in less. Well, maybe sometimes you can reach more.
Understood. That makes a lot of sense. But that's not the only service that your company provides, the matchmaking. That's just one of the many different features that you provide. So for the people listening today who aren't familiar with NetworkTables and the full range of services that you provide, can you just start and give them a high-level overview of the different areas that you can cover?
Yeah. So let's say we have 4 solutions, but all together, the main vision, the main goal is to bring the right people together at the right time. That's what we do. That's where we think the magic happens. The right time, the right people, and the right location. And the products we've made for that is, of course, the roundtable seating solution. So when you're doing like a series of topic-based roundtable discussions in a virtual event, or whether you're doing an award show, or where people actually need to be seated in person, it doesn't matter. You can use the tool to do roundtable seating. And we make it just super easy for attendees to use that, and more fun than just filling that in on a form or marking down, oh, I want to go to table number 5. We just give you more information, like who's sitting there, what's it about, connecting with others, stuff like that. Then we have the session booking tool. So allowing you to choose your breakout sessions and again, see who else is in those breakout sessions to make it more attractive for people to basically find that person that you want to meet. Because sometimes you have a list of people you want to meet, you don't know where they are. So we solve that issue. We show you where's those people and allow you and guarantee you you're going to meet those people by seating yourself in a session where they attend. It sounds very complex, but it's very simple solution to a very complex problem. Then we have the one-on-one solution, where we basically see concepts like meet the speaker, meet the buyer, meet the expert sessions, because you can really easily give people a number of slots, let's say 4 slots of 15 minutes in 1 hour. So the speaker knows what he's going to get, and the attendee knows what he's going to get, instead of having meetings throughout the whole day, in the morning, in the afternoon, whatever, because this is how normal meeting schedulers work. You just plan and you have to agree a time. You now know that you're going to have 4 meetings, all like back to back. So it's for the attendee is more efficient, for the speaker or exhibitor or seller is more efficient. So that's the benefit of that one-on-one meeting solution. And again, very visually and works the same, and you can host those things all next to each other. And when you combine all of those things, you have a full virtual event or a full in-person event where people pre-schedule their personalized program. And because that's so easy, and we see like 90% of the users do that up to 3 to 4 weeks before the event even already, we are very good as well for communities. That's our 4th product. We have an always-on event community platform, where basically we allow people to attend those kind of sessions, roundtables, one-on-ones, breakout sessions throughout the whole year, no matter if they're in person for a breakfast, for example, or like a workshop, or whether they're virtual, doesn't matter. It can all be in one place. So if you combine all of our solutions together, what we see now, what we also focus on as a company, is to try to make events always on events that never stop. So what you see now is we already helped for a long time community-based events, is like, let's say, associations, accelerators, summits. They come to us because they want to save time, and they look for a place to list all of their events instead of doing that all manually for their members. That are typical customers before. For the community platform now, we see a high uptake in event organizers trying to pivot their one-day trade show conference into a 12-month conference. And that's what we help them a lot with, because we actually have the experience. We see a lot of event organizers, they want to do it, but they don't know where to start. So we basically help them kickstart. So we're not only a tool, we're also happy to help them and say, look, you should do like this. We already do this for 4 or 5 years. We know exactly what works and what doesn't work. Let us help you in a 30-minute call, and we just explain them exactly how can they launch this. So really make a concept for them, a timeline. And then, of course, our tool is designed to automate all of this, to automate communication to the right people, to make sure that members can organize their own events within a concept that you have came up with. For example, one very popular concept is Thursday member-led session. So every Thursday between 4 and 5 p.m., for example, people can initiate their own topic. They can do that in advance. And then the association or the community would promote those sessions on a weekly basis to fill them up. So it's me, for example, creating a session about topic-based matchmaking within a community of event organizers. Then I'm going to get people of my session signed up that are interested in that specific topic. That's valuable for the attendees. And it's valuable for me because I get to know people interested in my services maybe. And for them, it's just an overview of topics set by other members instead of topics set by the event organizer. So it's really relevant in this way.
Yeah,
Natural.
that's a really interesting solution, that community year-round engagement hub. We're seeing a lot of demand for that here at Feedloop as well, where our clients are taking their typical 3-day annual conference and they want to extend it and turn it into a hub that people can come back to for weeks, if not months afterwards. And in that hub, you've got the recordings from the 3-day conference, but then you've also got monthly webinars that take place. You've got discussion forums where people can go in and have conversations based on topics. So you're also seeing at your company a demand for not your typical 3-day conference, but something that spans longer, something that spans months or the entire year round, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we see the demand, but we see also they need help with experience. So because we grow a community from 20,000 to 60,000 members in the past 4 years, 2018, let's say 2017, 18, we know exactly what worked for them and not. And we really work always with our customers together. So they have also made us adjust our solution for their community, such a community with such size. So now we teach others basically how to launch a freemium model. How can you sell this on your ticket page? What tricks are there to basically make people buy into your subscription instead of buy that one ticket for that 1-day event? After that, what do you need to do to keep people engaged? Can you set up any funnels? How can you integrate it into your CRM? There's a lot of stuff that we help event organizers with that goes beyond just software tool. Maybe even more valuable what we help them with than just buying our solution.
So it seems that you're not only a software company and a software provider, but you're also playing that role of strategic advisors and account managers, where you provide the software solution, but you also have conversations with your clients on what they're looking to achieve. You
always
point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
How do you manage all of the different customization requests and feature ideas that come from your clients? Because for us,
that's a good question.
Company as well, we have a lot of our clients coming in and saying, "Hey, it would be great if you can build X, Y, Z," but with limited engineering resources and an already flushed out product roadmap, it's tough to balance all of the requests that come in and what's already on the roadmap. So how does your team handle that? Because you seem to do
it's very simple. It's very simple. So first of all, you need to ask them how much do you pay for it. If it's €0, you don't build it, because it means nobody is interested in that, right? So it's very simple. Because I mean, I also want a rocket that flies to Mars, but if I don't want to pay for it, then nobody's gonna build that, you know. So sometimes people want things, but if there's no business case for it, it means probably it's something that they don't need. So that's a filter you have already. And what we have is we have advanced features, and it's called customizations. And in that customizations pane in our tool, super smart, you can basically put your own JavaScript and CSS. So literally, some of our customers that are more advanced, they've been building their own designs, been changing they're building their own features, time zone features. They can basically build upon NetworkTables themselves, so it's very flexible. But we do also have modules. I think we have a couple of extra modules that have been developed over time, like these challenges and solutions matchmaking module that you described. We also have that for hosted buyer and seller events, where people fill in a set of data, like questionnaires, and then we show them who's the best match. Has been developed together with a company that was doing a lot of match meetings. So where they were trying to match up buyers and sellers. But we did that because we had a long-term collaboration, and we included that as part of the deal to every year develop some features that would help them, and we also believe in. So now we have that as a module. We also have a module for startups and investors, because we did basically in the Netherlands, some point we had to do a series of all of the tech events. for Tech Festival week. So we supported all of the tech events with investors and startups to match the right startups to the right investor with funding profiles and stuff like that. So we had then built that module, and we include that module now, these modules now on our pricing packages as well to use if you want. But we just don't start building out of nothing. There really need to be a good reason for it. For example, there are some very complex matchmaking to allocate people over different hotels at different times, different rules. Then we think, okay, this could be very interesting. Maybe other people need it as well, but we hide it because if all our normal users would see that, they will go crazy. They'll be like, oh, that's too complex. So we try to also focus on ease of use and only provide our advanced customers with extra modules upon request.
That's really interesting to see how your team manages the prioritization of custom features and custom requests. I think it's a really good idea how you try to keep things streamlined and simple. Like as a software solution, you're always adding in new features, new bells and whistles. But if your clients don't know how to use it, and if you add something in and it just adds unnecessary complexity, then there may be more disadvantages to it than benefits if it's not rolled out properly. So great to hear how your team manages that prioritization and rollout of new tools and features. If you're able to, are there any upcoming projects or any features that are on your roadmap that you're really excited about that you think is going to shake up the industry and how people network at events?
Of course we have, but you will see them when we launch it. Like,
fair enough.
We now really focus, of course, on in-person events. We have very good tools for that to engage people to increase show-up rates. Same we do with virtual events. We really keep people engaged by letting them go from meeting to session automatically in our tool. It's something that most tools don't do. And we focus also on embedding in our service into more platforms that are already there that really miss the networking. And because we're so niche, we're really only focused on making networking easier at events. For those people that miss features like this, they embed us. So we're really trying to focus more on also allowing people to, if they want, have NetworkTables, for example, but they're already using Feedloop, then we want to make it attractive for Feedloop or for your customers to buy our product in a way that, for example, you could be on a monthly pricing plan and just sell our solution, or that they can in an easier way step in on the model instead of paying two tools at the same time. That we try to basically include it in your pricing packages. So we're trying to think now of a model because it's more and more demanded. It's called NetworkTables Embedded. So we have also NetworkTables Embedded pricing. So that's what we focus on, and we focus on communities. Really try to help people as much as people that want to launch communities. We have a very simple pricing model which starts at €1.50 per month per member. And that's so low for them that they can easily start with a couple of members and try and launch a community. While other platforms, they charge at least 5, 10 or 20K, which is also in the end what you end up with us if you have 2,000 people. But to actually start a community, I think we have a very good and interesting pricing model because it also includes our advice, which basically you get for free.
Right. And it's more of a pay-as-you-go model, so there isn't a really high upfront cost.
You can always stop.
More manageable and affordable. That's great. That's a really good model. Now, I've heard you mention a couple of times that you're a fairly niche platform, and I know your solution works very well for communities, but the events that you cater to, are they large conferences? Are they trade shows? Are they smaller meetings or internal company networking events? Like, what type of events are you a really good fit for?
Let's say what we are not a good fit for is product launches, one-day seminars, plenary sessions, events where just information is sent. is not interesting. Of course, if you have a series of webinars that we see, that's interesting for a community portal to just have your people sign up for those workshops and plenary sessions. If you have just one event a year where you want to launch your product, invite your customers, that's it, and no networking involved, B2C, let's say, not interesting. Don't use us. If you have an event which is a bit more complex, where your attendees need to choose, where you want to bring attendees based on topics or shared interest together, and you're looking for networking concepts or already have, then we are a good tool to implement. So we're being used by conferences because they are always content focused. And I mean, meeting people around topics is content focused. So for conference, we work very well. And also trade shows, because they have so much sponsors, and sponsors getting more and more tired of having to depend on an app or a scheduler for meetings, then also now to try to create new concepts for them, to offer round tables to the sponsors, to offer a set of pre-scheduled meetings to the sponsors that for them it's very valuable. So they buy that product of us. So that's all topic-based matchmaking. Well, of course, as I said, communities that are typically being recognized by one target audience, meeting throughout the whole year at events they come together, that's a community for us. So anything that has to do with like alumni, internal employees, it's also a community. Or new employees, like when people get new employees in a company and it's virtual, then I see they use our tool, like corporates, they use our tool to bring them together around topics in 4 rounds to get to know each other, for example. So it's like an icebreaker for the new employees that they hired. Stuff like that.
What about associations? I'd imagine that community solution would work really well for membership organizations and those kind of groups.
Yeah, that's what I said. So associations, accelerators, network clubs, they use our product already because they have, let's say, 40 to 100 or 200 events. Some of them have 1,000, but they also have more members. And they need to have a way to let people easily sign up with one account instead of filling in forms all the time and sending out mail merges. So yeah, of course, associations, they now need a product like this because it comes all together. Like you combine MailChimp, Eventbrite, I don't know which tools they're more like WordPress. You combine all of those tools together by using NetworkTables always on.
Amazing. Love that. Well, Matthijs, this has been a really great conversation. It's awesome getting to learn more about NetworkTables, what your company does, and how your tool helps to elevate networking at events. One question I always like to ask our guests before I let them leave is try to get them to share some advice and pieces of tidbits and tips that they can share with the audience. So for the listeners today, what is your advice on how they can maximize networking at their next event? And let's say they're doing a typical annual conference. A lot of our listeners are associations and membership organizations. So what would you recommend they do to help really take their networking to the next level?
Well, for associations that already do events, think about what you can do at your current events. Can you include matchmaking, yeah? Then second of all is how can you at an event promote people to create events themselves? If you have a solution for that, if not, of course, call us, but try to create more activities and ideally by your own members that people can attend, because when there's a lot of activities, basically there's always something for someone. So this is basically engaging your members more than ever. I think that's very important for associations is member engagement, to increase that. It's super easy. During COVID, I think it was the perfect time to have more engagement than ever, because it was more easy than ever. It was a lower barrier to attend an activity or a meeting, whether it's in a smaller group or a bigger group, because it was online. But I think really you need to combine that.
Yeah.
Try to come up with more concepts and try it.
Right on. Yeah, those are some really good tips, Matthijs. So again, thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed this conversation. I have a funny feeling there will be some members of the audience who are interested in learning more about network tables and connecting with you. So where's the best place to direct them?
Just go to networktables.com, or if you want to immediately get like me on the call for some advice, just go to networktables.com/meet-Matthijs, and you see my name in the screen, Matthijs with 2 T's, H-I-J-S. Yeah, that's where to go to.
Great. We'll link that in the posting for this podcast.
Cool.
You're also on LinkedIn, correct?
Yeah, just add me on LinkedIn, Matthijs Otto. Google Always On Events, Google Event Community Platform. Probably you find us, topic-based matchmaking, these kind of words. I think Google's your best friend. And if not, just type in networktables.com.
Love it. And any final words before we let you go?
Well, good luck in 2023 with improving your networking at your event. And if you don't, then see you in 2026.
Awesome. Well, Matthijs, thank you again. Really enjoyed the conversation. And to our listeners, that wraps up our Where People Meet podcast episode on maximizing networking at your next in-person or hybrid event with Matthijs Otto of NetworkTables. Thanks for your time today, and we'll see you next time on the Where People Meet